Phil really, I thought he was excellent today for Manchester City. I just thought he was at times unplayable in terms of how he picks the ball up. But
yeah, hard luck. Always going to be a tough game today, though, wasn't it? What were your thoughts overall?
yeah, no, it was always going to be a tough game. Yeah, no, what we tried to do is come here and nullify the areas that we know Man City are excellent in and operate in. And I thought we did that to start off with, and got up the pitches very early stage of the game. And what you got to try and do is try and start the game on a positive note and try and disrupt their passing rhythm. I thought once the first goal went in after 30 odd minutes, then they had a quick fire second one. Obviously, the game runs away from you then, really. But it's nothing that the boys should be disgracing, because I thought they nullified a lot of the areas where we know Manchester City can be really dominant and devastating in.
Yeah, it's, to go 33 minutes without your resistance broken, without even really being tested before the first goal, it's some credit for the players, isn't it?
I think so, Steve. In terms of, we know they're going to dominate possession here. We know they're going to control the play and that. But when they get into those dangerous areas around the box, that's where I think you've got to be switched on. And I thought the boys was to that aspect really in terms of dealing with them. And then, as I said to you, when the first goal goes in, if we could have just regained our composure and focus on it, and nullify the second goal, you probably get to half time, still in the game. But with two goals, again, you're still trying to stay in around the game and try and get a counter attack against them. But I thought we had a couple of half chances where we did counter up the pitch, and they just got bodies around us really, and kind of snuffed it out. If I had one small critique, is probably we might have could have fashioned probably a little bit better an opportunity when we did break out. But I've got nothing but credit to the players in terms of how they went about the game.
Three players that you've got new to the squad: Brody, Alex Matos, and Mojan, all had promising moments in the games and all had good games overall, didn't they? That was very good.
Yeah, and I think you'll see from our point of view what they'll give us for the second half of the season in terms of what the three of them brought us today. Alex in midfield, very competitive, enthusiasm in terms of his play. Bojan in terms of his hold-up play and his link-up play and giving us a focal point to hit. And certainly Brody, we know Brody coming from down from Scotland, patrol that right-hand side. And I thought they're all difficult game. There's a difficult game for them to come into, but the way the three of them performed today, and credit to the boys. Of course, we did respect our opponents in Manchester City because currently they're the best team in the world. But we didn't fear them, uh, um, which was credit to the players. In terms of when we had to engage them, we did engage them. But listen, I take nothing away from them. They're a fantastic team, and from a learning perspective, it will stand us in good stead for the second half.
I think Brody in particular doesn't play like a 19-year-old, does he? You never know. So calm and composed.
Yeah, Brody, Alex. We had some young lads out there today that when you play against that level of quality of opposition, they've got internationals right across the pitch. And obviously, Phil really, I thought he was excellent today for Manchester City. I just thought he was at times unplayable in terms of how he picks the ball up. But I think from a professional point of view, the areas that he operates in and some of the areas he operates in, he's got no right to really. But such is just the level of the player that he is. Um, Obviously, he was devastating for us, and he got the two goals and two real quality finishes.
Let's get Tommy Pender on as well. You talked about him the other day. That's not a token thing for, is it? But
No,
great moment for him today,
no,
saying he did.
no, yeah, and he's definitely got that. And I've been speaking about him, and he's at a level and a point to his game where I think now, if we see fit and it's the right type of game for him to play, I won't hesitate to play him.
You were missing a couple today. How are Cass and Hoggy?
Yeah, no, Cass sustained an injury yesterday in training, so we're going to assess him over the next few days. And Huggy's just got a chest infection.
Right, okay. You hoping to get Hoggy back next week?
Yeah, well, it's all down to the medication and how he's feeling really. But he's got a chest infection, so he's been prescribed medication by the doctor.
Had two games now where I think, respectfully, probably going in would have thought the chances were slim you're going to get anything out of them. now is it sort of redoubling the players' efforts and going into a more winnable run of games and hoping to see a response now?
Yeah, we're respectful for every game that we play. We are respectful, and we know in football you got no given right to say you're going to win matches. You got to earn them, and certainly when we look at the next bout of games coming up, we got to be ready and set for those games in terms of going forward. So we got some work to do before our next home game, and that's exactly what we'll be doing.
Yep, cool. Stu.
Hi, Darren. What will that performance have done for Alex in particular as the least experienced of those new players?
I think it'd be good for him. I think what he did, he was so looking forward to the game. It was almost like I was kind of holding him back really, because he just really wanted to play. He was so energised for it, and I think with his performance, you saw that, in terms of how he was getting about the pitch and not holding back in any of his challenges. He made the challenge and got booked for it, so I thought you got to be careful now in terms of it, but it didn't dampen his spirits at all really. Credit to him really for one so young to step into that arena, but you got to remember the environment where he's come out of. He's probably used to that quality in terms of in training, so I had no hesitation in playing him today.
And I think it was only a minute or two in when he sort of went down the left and got forward a bit. How important was it? It's obviously going to be a difficult defensive day for your team, but you did try and throw punches through Strawberry, through the players' like.
Yeah, and we had to do that, but we knew we had to throw. Our punches was always going to come from deeper, running off the back of them, and we did adventure up the pitch, but I just probably thought the release passes to get them up the pitch could have been probably better, because we thought we had the legs in the wide areas to maybe trouble them, but they're such a difficult team, because when the ball turns over, they just smother and press you, and really we gain the ball back, and that's credit to them in terms of, even though they do play a high line, they're very switched on when the ball turns over in transitions. They're really, really quick and show their athleticism. So credit to the boys in terms of trying to do that. And from a learning perspective, you as much as quality you're playing against Man City, you've got to show that quality against them in order to break their defensive lines.
And not just from a learning perspective, but a confidence one as well. Do you think your team could take something from the team? It was possible.
I really do. I sit here, Shea, and the boys, and I've just said to them, listen, it's you felt it, but I think what they were just talking about was just the quality, what they were coming up against, and how switched on they had to be from a mental, not just a physical point of view, but from a mental. And I think when you step in the arena, you can talk about it, but when the boys feel it, and in reality, and the arena, that's a learning. And sometimes in moments of defeats like this and like these days like this, it's the learning perspective really from it, and that's where we've taken from today.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Cheers, Start. Thanks.